this video, I'm going to talk about the March NFT Reward Competition. I'm going to talk about the price structure, the meta, adjustments to the meta, and the best suggestions and thoughts that I can give you for this competition. So, the next competitions will start on Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. And the meta will be fancy cakes, just like the last competition, but with few adjustments. But before I talk about that, first I want to talk about the price structure. So top 4,500 players who score at least 50,000 stars will qualify for the Pottery Shop Ghost card. The Pottery Shop Ghost card will reduce the craft time of all the crafts in the Pottery Shop. The higher the rarity, the higher the reduction, and the better you place in the leaderboards for the competition, then the higher the rarity of the Pottery Shop Ghost card that you will receive. So the meta is fancy cakes, and they did mention all the adjustments, and it's really not that much adjustments. If you made a fancy cake build for this last competition, you will likely be able to use the exact same build, but you may have to change out your strategy a bit. So going right into it, first thing is that eggs will no longer be cash boosted. So the previous 2 months, eggs that have actually been cash boosted twice the amount compared to what they sell for standard value. So eggs were selling for 3,300 each, and now they will be returning to standard value of 1,650 each. So eggs really aren't going to be a viable rush at the start anymore due to this. You may want to consider doing something else, such as selling wool for more cash so you can get to gas production. It is a slower process, but it does give you more cash. If you just try to sell eggs and go for full gas production, well, it might actually be slower than you think. It's really up to you, but I would probably suggest trying to do some kind of wool rush instead of eggs. But anyways, the next adjustment is the changes to the corrupted portal. I didn't get to talk about the corrupted portal that much for the last competition. So I will be talking about it a bit in this video. So the adjustments to the corrupted portal, in the last competition, corrupted portal got introduced, and it allowed you to craft stars. It allowed you to craft 250,000 stars in exchange for 1.5 million cash. That value will be adjusted, so for this competition, you will be able to craft 350,000 stars in exchange for 2.5 million cash. So if you're wondering what the difference is, it has been nerfed, but the corrupted portal is still the best thing you can do for stars once you get your fancy cake build done and finished. So the changes right there, the previous competition, you would receive 1 star for every 6 cash. And this competition, you receive 1 star for just about every 7.1 cash. So that's about the rate if you were wondering. So slight nerf, but still very helpful. You definitely still want to build and use the corrupted portal. So some important things to note about the corrupted portal. Some people were having issues with it the last competition, but just keep in mind that the corrupted portal requires a paved road to place, and it also casts 3 shades, so you want to be mindful of where you're placing it. So if you find yourself in a situation where you need to turn the portal off after you've turned it on and left it running, well, once you turn off the portal, you basically lose the 2.5 million cash that went into it. So you want to keep that in mind. There's no way around it. Some people call it the cancellation fee. That's why the portal is corrupted. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Do not constantly start the portal and stop it back to back. You probably want to build up a good chunk of cash, and definitely only keep the portal running while you're nearby and actively watching it. You also don't want to go through all your cash. If you run out of cash completely, you won't be able to pay your wages and your entire town will stop, so you really want to be careful about that. But also, if you end up being under the amount of cash it requires to craft stars, so for this competition, if you fall under 2.5 million cash, you will find out that you won't actually be able to turn it off anymore. And as soon as you get more cash, it's going to take 2.5 million cash and just craft more stars. And once again, you won't be able to turn it off because you're under 2.5 million cash. Now, there is one way around that. So if you find yourself in a situation where you have less than 2.5 million cash, then you won't be able to turn the portal off. And as soon as you do get to 2.5 million cash, the portal is automatically going to take it. And once again, you'll probably be under 2.5 million cash and you won't be able to turn it off. So you'll kind of get stuck So one way around that is to get rid of the paved road requirements that the portal requires, and that'll just turn it off. And from there, just keep building on cash, and eventually you'll put the paved roads back and turn it back on. But you definitely don't want to be doing that, so just be careful. Keep an eye on your cash, build up a lot of cash before you decide to turn it on. And the corrupted portal will be probably your best friend, because it's going to make you a ton of stars once you've finished your fancy cake build. So it really still helps out. I highly recommend making the corrupted portal once you're done with your build and your research, if you choose to do the research. So last thing we're going to talk about is the research center. It has some adjustments specifically to the crafts. So research, I would say, is definitely worth it. However, for the last competition, the research was too expensive. Some people decided not to actually do the research and just save the cash and just use it all to craft stars in the corrupted portal, and it worked out just fine for them. However, things are different for this competition because the research now costs way less cash and it's actually easier to craft. The craft costs, the items required are easier to get, and the buffs are the same. So they're very good buffs. They're going to help out your production rate. So I do recommend you do the research, but let's talk about the adjustments right here. So all three researches, windmill, farm tractor, and cow speed, instead of costing 50 million cash, they will now cost 7 million cash. So that's a huge reduction. So the windmill, miller speed will also cost 100 sugar and 100 flour. Very easy to get, right? Farm tractor will cost 100 oak wood and 50 cocoa. Not too bad, pretty easy to get as well. Cow speed will require 100 milk and 100 wood. That's easy to get, and all three of those help out a decent amount. I mean, it's a 25% increase to movement speed, but considering the low craft cost and the adjustment made to this meta, I think it's definitely worth it. Now, the global speed, that's a huge buff, 75% increase to the windmills, the tractors, and the cows. Plus, it's a 50% movement speed increase to everything else, so it's a huge buff. It's gonna dramatically improve your rates. They have reduced the cash cost from 250 million down to 50 million. So much better. Still might seem like a lot of cash, but I say it's definitely worth it for this price. Now the craft requirements also changed. 100 honeycomb, which compared to the 100 honey from the last competition, it's about the same. Maybe it's a little more difficult, but it's about the same process. And instead of 25 Chardonnay wine, this time around they want 30 decorated cakes. So they want 100 honeycomb and 30 decorated cakes in addition to 50 million cash in order to make the global speed bonus. So decorated cakes. It shouldn't be too hard. I definitely think 30 decorated cakes for this meta is easier than the 25 Chardonnay wines that people had to make the last meta. Just keep in mind that overall cakes are easier to craft this meta because the requirements for all the ingredients needed to get to a cake have been dropped. So you'll basically have to make cakes, make some chocolate bars, which you probably are already making for the fancy cakes, but you will now have to add candy canes. Decorated cakes require candy canes, so you will add a way to make candy canes, and that's how you get your decorated cakes. It's not that much of a difference. It's not going to completely ruin your build. You could actually do your full build and then worry about the research, just replacing a few things, and it shouldn't affect your rate too badly. So overall, I highly recommend the research. It's going to help you so much with your production rate. So that's all for the adjustments. I shared some suggestions already. As for the biomes, I still have the same suggestions for biomes as I had for the last competition. So best case scenario, you want a desert with one ocean edge and one river edge. That would be amazing. You probably won't get the river though. So desert with one ocean edge would be great. Really, it doesn't even have to be a desert. You could do this with a forest or a plains. You definitely could. Yeah, you really could do this. You either want to have that ocean, or you could also do this without an ocean. Some people pulled it off. It actually does work. If you don't get the ocean, you really need to get one or two rivers. Preferably 2 rivers will just about tie the utility, the amount of spots you would save compared to the ocean. The reason you need the ocean is for the salt fields. You want to have green timer salt fields, and you put those next to the ocean to make them green timer. If you don't have an ocean, you will have red timer salt fields. So the 2 rivers would provide all the water you will need to have all those red timer salt fields, and you'll have saved space from not needing so many ponds. So you want one of those 2 setups. If you don't get a desert, it's okay. You definitely can still do this with a plains or a forest. I know a lot of people got upset the last competition because they couldn't get a desert and they thought they couldn't do it. It's still doable even without a desert. That's the best biome, but for this competition, not an absolute necessity. So I really want people to keep that in mind. You don't need those. They're just suggested. That would be the best way to do it, but not the only way. I don't have a build showcase video, but considering the meta is just about the same as the March Gala Reward Competition, I highly suggest you check out the videos I made a few weeks ago on the no NFT fancy cake builds. I have a regular one with no tractors and loggers. I have an upgraded one that uses the tractors and loggers, but no research. And the upgraded one shows everything. It includes tractors, loggers, ATVs, it includes all the research. However, the requirements I mentioned on that video for the research obviously are not the same as the requirements for this upcoming competition. Just keep that in mind. But hopefully all those videos are able to help you out and inspire you to work on improving your build. Even if you decide to copy those builds, you always want to improve it as much as you can and try to balance everything out so you can rank even better in the competition. So hopefully all that information helped you out. Consider liking the video if you found this informative or helpful. Leave a comment on what you think about these small meta adjustments. Do you like it? Considering there's not that much of a difference, I actually think these meta adjustments make it more fair in my opinion. So it's really nice to see that I'll be able to do about the same build that I did for the last competition and still probably get top 200 considering what a good build it was. And subscribe if you haven't done so you don't miss out on my Town Star content and other content for Gala Games. I will be streaming the competition, but I'll also be streaming other things. I will probably also be playing The Walking Dead Empires, possibly Eternal Paradox, but on Tuesday when the competition starts, you will see me streaming the competition and working on my build. Feel free to hang out, ask any questions if you have any. And really, that's everything. I appreciate your support so much. Thank you for watching.